The slime mold decides that even a system can't beat the classic appeal of a hot-blooded adventure with a master, and he imagines the two of them training and growing stronger together. He launches into battle using moves like plasmoid barrage and cytoplasmic cannon, attacking with lightning speed. In his fantasy, they become champions and pet mastering becomes the hottest career, with interviewers asking the strongest rookie and adventurer idol for their secret. He imagines evolving into a humanoid form. He pictures a bond so deep it leads to marriage. The slime mold declares that system stories are played out, so he definitely picks the cute master, and chuckles as he already has the next 100 episodes planned out. Back in reality, he's about to agree when something unexpected happens. But then he sees Nia has been killed, caught off guard, and he starts to say he's willing, but it's too late. A green eye glares menacingly. The old creature awakens and unleashes an abyssal magic circle of winds demise. The owl's body distorts and begins to change into a different form. The little pig angrily charges at the owl. The slime mold exclaims that the head he smashed is regrowing, and warns Pig Bro not to act rashly. As the little pig rushes in, the owl points a finger and casts an abyssal magic degeneration ray. The beam strikes the pig, shrinking it into a tiny creature that scurries away. The slime mold is shocked by the degeneration magic and realizes this owl isn't the one he fought before. The owl revives and complains about how much resources were wasted, calling the previous owner useless. Merlin, one of the church's 7 holy knights, scoffs that the old man should have listened to him earlier instead of making him clean up the mess. Merlin notes the ceiling barrier is down, but he vows not to let Jean get away. Merlin conjures Tempest Wing and takes flight. The slime mold realizes a human transferred their consciousness into the owl's corpse, and he feels ignored because of his weakness, just like when he first arrived. He struggles with his thoughts. She killed Nia, even if the contract wasn't final. Should he be grateful to be alive? No, he refuses to live on while his friend is dead. He resolves to take revenge no matter what. He attacks, vowing that even if he can't kill her, he'll at least hit her with a blast of cytoplasm. The scene shifts to Jane. His system reports that his mana loan is repaid, but his health is critically low and his left arm is severely damaged, needing immediate treatment. Jean tells the system not to state the obvious, that he has nothing left, and orders it to keep contacting the reincarnator summoned by the Hope coordinates. A voice tells him he is saved. The system explains that long-distance communication isn't possible until first connection, but it can send similar signals, and confirms that Jean is heading in the right direction. Jin knows the church will send more enforcers, so he must find the new reincarnator and evacuate before they come. The slime mold uses his search ability and detects a figure, then charges to attack. He recognizes the long neck and swings his weapon, yelling, "I remember you." With a loud crash, the slime mold smashes his weapon onto the figure's head. He hesitates, noticing the armor seems different than expected. He realizes the long neck was just a tassel on the helmet. He stammers an apology, blaming the poor lighting and complaining about the flashy helmet, and asks if the person is still alive. Suddenly Jean grabs hold of the slime mold. Jin recognizes the weapon and smells blood on the slime. He accuses the slime of killing his guildmate and a church dog and vows to destroy him. The slime struggles. As the slime struggles, both their systems chime with a successful connection. Jean is shocked to see the system interface and asks if the slime is also a reincarnator. The slime mold is equally stunned, realizing he's not the only reincarnator in this world. Jean explained that he had activated the treasure hope coordinate to summon the slime mold to fight the evil church. The slime mold realized that all the humans he had met were Jean's guild members and lamented that he couldn't even save a girl named Nia. Jane reassured the slime mold that he had also started weak as a reincarnator, growing stronger by following system tasks, but the slime mold complained that he was just a single-celled organism. Jin confessed that he too was not human, which was why he always wore armor, and the slime mold asked what he was. Jin revealed that he was a goblin, a race despised by humans. The slime mold made a crude description of goblins as greedy, aggressive, and ugly, then said he would rather be a cute slime. Jin agreed that his goblin appearance caused him trouble in human society. The slime mold exclaimed that Jin looked handsome in his true form and complained about the unfairness. Jin said he didn't find it handsome and that being exposed as a goblin would get him exiled, while the slime mold's small form was more convenient. The slime mold still protested the disparity. Jin explained his guild's purpose and warned that the church had sent Merlin, the cruelest of the 7 holy knights, then urged the slime mold to stand up as they needed to act quickly. Jin announced he would synchronize all his magic and battle skills to the slime mold, and the system began connecting. The system connection succeeded and data transfer started at 1%. The slime mold was thrilled at the possibility of instantly gaining power. Jin recounted how he had suspected the Pope but fell into a trap, burning all his resources in a battle that revealed the church's true intentions. He said the road ahead would be harder and he needed the slime mold to fight alongside him. As the skill transfer reached 2%, the slime mold asked what the church and Pope had done to make Jin hate them so much. Jin revealed that the church already ruled the world and wanted to sacrifice all life to open a channel for the elite to ascend to a higher universe. The slime mold was astonished at the villain's ambitions and asked how they would sacrifice everyone. Jin began his backstory, explaining that he was reborn as a goblin cub in a dark mine, surviving by eating insects and scraps and even human remains. At age 5 his system awakened, and he used his new power to end the mine's atrocities, rescuing female warriors who had been kept as breeding machines. He helped the warriors resettle but noted they had developed nymphomania from their captivity. He used his racial skill Joy to treat them, and the slime mold agreed that his soul remained human. The slime mold was curious about the skill, and Jin explained that it involved intercourse with different classes, boosting his stats each time. Jin elaborated that with a female warrior, he increased his health, and with a female mage his magic and elemental affinity along with experience points. Using joy he built a solid hybrid foundation and started families, then decided to go to the royal capital for a better life. The slime mold felt Gene was showing off. Gene said that going to the capital was his worst mistake, leading to the loss of his wives and children. Suddenly Merlin appeared, interrupting the transfer at 12%. A fierce gust of wind sent shockwaves through the area. Merlin unleashed an abyss magic called Wind's Demise Cone. Merlin mocked Gene for being a goblin and expressed a desire to dissect him, but said the Pope ordered his death. Merlin asked how Gene had killed the immortal chimera Kadoyelawa. Gene's system warned that his symbiotic armor was destroyed and suggested retreat, but Gene told it to be quiet. Merlin asked if Gene was talking to the invisible system and said he wanted to take Gene's body to inherit it. Gene called Merlin a devil and a church dog for his inhumane experiments. Merlin retorted by questioning Gene's understanding of humanity and the value of life from a higher dimensional perspective. The slime mold fired a bullet that Merlin caught effortlessly. Merlin mocked Gene for relying on such a low-level monster, then used a gaze skill that paralyzed the slime mold, making him feel completely exposed. Merlin was momentarily distracted but said the slime mold couldn't escape. Jen used a skill called Weak Point Break, saying he had no intention of running. Merlin cast an Abyss Magic Geometric Inferno, trapping Gene inside a cube. The slime mold asked if that was it, and Merlin said close combat was his weakness, but he wouldn't give Gene a chance. Gene declared that Weak Point Break worked on magic too. Gene reached out from inside the cube and grabbed Merlin's head. Gene vowed that even if he died, he would take Merlin with him. Gene's system notified him that his health was down to 1 out of nearly 3 million and activated the last stand state, keeping him at 1 health for a minute no matter what. He then unleashed the skill Final Accord. Merlin screamed in panic, recognizing the spell and demanding Gene let go, knowing the terrible price. Gene's system warned that Final Accord would override the last stand, completely zeroing his life and erasing his body and soul. But Gene didn't care, and he pressed on with the Final Accord. Merlin's life force was being drained away. Through the system, Gene apologized for their brief meeting and explained this was his only option. He entrusted the task of saving the world to the slime mold, warning him never to trust the church. The slime mold was shocked, pleading with Gene not to die, wondering how a weak slime could possibly save the world. Gene urged him to believe in himself, saying maybe his own summoning was meant to bring the slime mold to this world. Moments later, Gene and Merlin both vanished. The slime mold gasped, calling out to Gene. Unexpectedly, Merlin was still alive, though barely, and cursed Gene for the heavy losses. Merlin lamented that 5 of his precious life candles, meant for connecting to the chaotic universe and ascending, had been extinguished, and he was forced to inhabit a low-level demon's corpse. The slime mold spat acid at Merlin, declaring he would carry on Gene's will and avenge both him and the girl from before. The slime mold left a clone as a contingency, and Merlin exclaimed in surprise, realizing it was the contracted monster Gene had left behind. Merlin turned his fury toward the slime mold, vowing to make it pay for Gene's actions. Merlin cast a deep magic spell called Atavistic Ray, hitting the slime mold. The slime mold stood confused, feeling no effect. Merlin was frustrated, wondering if his magic was weakened by the damage to his soul. Enraged, Merlin declared that he, the kingdom's strongest mage, would not be beaten by a mere weak monster. The slime mold noted that Merlin was already half dead from Gene's attack and decided to use his unknown abilities to catch her off guard, activating Search. Suddenly a bird monster appeared and attacked Merlin. Merlin was blasted into a rock, severely wounded. Merlin cursed, swearing that if he could return to the church and recover, he would come back and burn the swamp forest to ashes. The bird gathered flames in its mouth, ready to strike. It unleashed a high-level spell, Pseudo-Dragon Breath, spewing flames toward Merlin. The bird let out a questioning sound as Merlin was burned to a crisp, then the creature devoured him whole. Time passed. The bird began to evolve. After consuming Merlin, the bird transformed into a far more powerful creature. The creature evolved from a snake heron into a feathered snake dragon. The newly evolved dragon took to the skies and flew away. The slime mold stood in shock, unable to process everything that had just happened. The system informed him that the connection to Gene's system was lost, so only 37% of the skills could be transferred. Many skills like super mana and elemental resistance failed because he lacked mana, and dimensional enhancement failed due to body incompatibility. He moved to Gene's corpse and began absorbing skills, successfully gaining forging, medical knowledge, cooking, 71% of general knowledge, and 83% of the land bestiary. Despite all he had gained, the slime mold felt no joy. He suddenly wished he could go back to being a simple, carefree slime. He then searched for the remaining pieces of Gene's armor. Shaking off his despair, he resolved to carry on Gene's mission. If the church succeeded in sacrificing all life, no one would escape. Even without a proper body, he thought he could still control the armor, though his movements were shaky. He tried to steady himself but lost his balance and fell. It was difficult to focus on one part but then neglect another, unable to coordinate everything at once. Deciding it was safer to hide, he stored the armor away, uncertain whether the church would send more agents. The system identified the armors forged from Power Stone, able to absorb most physical damage, and crafted by Gene himself. He found himself in a dense forest. The forest was thick and mysterious, tall trees all around. Feeling overwhelmed, the slime mold decided to process the influx of information. The system loaded the knowledge encyclopedia and land bestiary, currently at 58%. Knowledge flooded into his mind, revealing the map of this world, the Ghost Valley Mountains, polar ice fields, wasteland mines, and the royal capital. He realized the world was vast. His current location was the swamp forest. The royal capital maintained teleport gates across the land, managed by the church. Adventurers could request permission to travel to different locations, but adventurers had to surrender half their findings to the church's tariff. The slime mold mused that if he found a gate, he could head straight to the capital. The path was set, but he needed to grow stronger before heading to the capital. His only assets were the damaged high-grade armor and there was also the corpse of the girl named Naya. Should he decompose it? Keeping the corpse wouldn't bring her back. It would be better to let it decompose than to let it rot away. He began to decompose Nia's body. In his imagination she whispered a farewell. From then on he vowed to put an end to the evil church, even if he had to do it alone as a single slime. He received a system notification. Experience had reached the threshold, and he leveled from 49 to 50, gaining skill points and a new skill, domination. Combined with his own traits, it evolved into parasitic domination. A frog croaked on a lake. The slime mold tested his new skill firing a plasmoid barrage, but the frog's danger sense allowed it to dodge. The frog looked confused, but then a flurry of projectiles shot toward it. Explosions rang out as the projectiles struck. The system announced the frog was defeated and experience gained. The slime mold apologized, saying he needed to test his new skill. The skill description explained that he could invade a corpse with his slime, turning it into a puppet under his control. Since syncing with Gein's system, the explanations had become much clearer. He spat a bit of his slime into the frog's mouth. Activating the skill, he initiated the parasitism process. The slime spread within the frog, covering 88% of its body. The frog suddenly sprang to life, croaking. The slime mold was astonished. Was it alive again? The system confirmed success. He now had a swamp frog puppet, but it was at the current limit. He realized that successful parasitism animated the corpse. Next came Dominion. He concentrated, trying to shift his awareness into the slime inside the frog. He took control of the frog, now seeing through its eyes.